I'm here with Clement Pevrier, the co-founder of Almost Games. He's got an absolutely amazing story to tell of having no experience as a game designer and launching a mobile game that achieved 30,000 downloads. Pretty impressive for his first game. What's particularly interesting about this is that he's managed to do all of this outsourcing the build with no previous experience in games. Based in northern France, we connected with Clement through Aslan Games, a regional games association in Nantes, and their organizer highly recommended Clement. Clement, welcome. Great to have you here with us.
Thank you.
Okay, well, we'll dive straight in. Please tell us a little bit about how you came up with the game concept. What's of your story-based game? What's it called and what genre is it?
Yeah, so the game is called Another Game. Actually, I had the idea, I think it was in the early morning, something like that. I was taking a shower before to go to work, and I was thinking that it will be cool to play thriller games only based on message and exchanges. So at the time, for example, Lifeline didn't exist. It's the famous video game using that kind of features. I get the idea pop up in my mind because at this time I was watching a lot of series like Dexter or The Shield, thriller series, I mean. So I don't know about the genre because I don't know if there is a genre, but if yes, I think maybe it's like interactive fiction games or something we call like text-based game, but I don't really know. I just make my game and that's it.
Well, thank you. And clearly people like it. How did you initially get the money together to do the development?
Good question. As the game was for smartphones and as it's not a complicated one, I mean, there is no 3D to manage, there is no physics or stuff really complicated. We just spend our own money to make the game.
Wow. Well done for doing that. You did it all through self-publishing as well. How did you manage to get the word out about the game?
Yeah, actually, we have no deal with a French publisher to make the game on Steam and Android. But you're right. At this time, we were in self-publishing, so we make the game for iOS at the beginning, and at the beginning we spam every people we know about the game, every friends, family, to make it known. But we had also a marketing strategy to make it better, you know.
And can you tell us a little bit about the marketing strategy? What was it that you did in detail?
Yes, of course. We had like a planning to post on social media frequently. We had a lot of ideas like street marketing, but finally we chose to make a deal with a famous French publisher, famous French YouTuber, sorry, to improve the result of our marketing strategy.
And so do you think that was the most effective means? Was that YouTuber?
Yeah, it was the best move we did, I think.
Was it a difficult deal to put together?
At first, yes, it was really difficult because, you know, he wanted to have a lot of money, and we spent hours to explain to him that we are small indies, we don't have any lot of money, so please make an effort. And finally, we came on the same line. It was a good deal for him and for us.
Oh, that's great. And I mean, did you have to go and see him physically?
I never saw him physically, no. No.
So it was all negotiated through email or on the telephone?
Through email and through his agent. Someone is taking care about his business. So
I see. Thank
It's a really big YouTuber in French, so it was really complicated to have him on the phone or something like that.
you. Yeah, I see. And did you pay any money, or did he
Yeah,
just?
it was a deal, so there
Okay,
was some money. Yeah.
right. Is that the only place you spent the money on marketing?
We tried some Facebook ads, but it wasn't so relevant. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people have said that the Facebook ads don't work. Is that your experience as well?
For another game, yeah, I would say so. But for my new project called Orion, Facebook ads are really amazing. For example, we have lots of people from Brazil, and it's because of Facebook ads. So,
Right, that's interesting. Can you tell us a little bit about that? How come they're being so effective?
I really don't know. I think it depends of the project of the game. Maybe Brazilian people love pixel art style or RPG games. I don't really know why Facebook ads was more effective in Brazil. I don't really know. I don't have
Okay,
any explanation. Sorry.
okay, it's fine. Um, are there any differences? What are the differences between your first game and Orion?
Everything. Everything. Anna was an innovative concept, something really interesting to do, but not the kind of game I love to play. Orion, it's more like my stuff. I mean, it's like a roguelike game, so it's like game. mm, we had a lot of influence, like Hyper Light Drifter, Flint Hook, Rogue Legacy, etc. And Orion is a really game I want to play. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I can only make stuff that I want to play. Um, and tell me, is Orion as successful as Anna?
It's not available yet, so time will say it. But for now, we have a lot of fans on Facebook, on Instagram, and it's already more than Anna. So
Oh,
we are pretty happy about that.
these fans, are you using them to crowdfund the game, or are you building a test beta community?
Good question. My first thought was I wanted to create a large and big community to go on Kickstarter, for example, or to make a crowdfunding successful. But now that I'm speaking with a lot of publishers, they told me um, if we they told me if we go with me, for example, as a publisher, you won't have to make a Kickstarter or a crowdfunding. So I'm not sure about the strategy right now. Um, if I don't have any publisher, maybe I will use crowdfunding to fund the game. But if I have publisher, I think it won't be necessary.
Thank you. And you're using a publisher for Anna on Android and Steam now? Is that right?
Yeah, totally right. Yeah, because I think we did the best things to do because we released the game on iOS and on French market because obviously it was something we could manage because we were two at this time. Right now, the game will be translated in 5 languages, and we need to make it available on each market on several platforms. And it's obviously too difficult for one guy to do it. So I signed I signed a contract with a French publisher to help me to do that.
Oh, that's great. And was that deal a good deal because it was based on the sales that you already had in France?
Yeah, it was based on the sale, and also they invest to make the game on other platforms. So it's really helped me to bring the game on other platforms. So yeah, it was a good deal for me, And like that, I can be focused on other projects and not on distribution stuff or like that.
Sure. And do you have approvals on the builds and the other platforms?
Not yet. We are just developing the game for other platform, and we'll see for approvals.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I mean, do you, in the deal, do you keep the rights to
Oh yeah,
the
yeah, of
final
course.
say on
Yeah, yeah.
game?
It's my IP actually. It's my game totally. Yeah.
That's great. And you didn't have to give up the IP?
No, no, no. We never talked about that, and my publisher is really okay with that.
Right. The publisher didn't ask for it?
No,
Wow.
no.
Okay. And do you mind, can I ask you, like, how many units you sold in France to be able to get a publishing deal?
Yeah, so we sold 6,000 copies here in French market, and you said during the intro, 30,000 is the number of items sold in the game. It's not the number of the copy of the game because we have in-app purchases. So that's it. We are around 6,000 copies sold only on French market and only on iOS. And we'll see, maybe the game will be more on other platforms with other languages. I don't know. We'll see.
And what's the release date for the other platforms? Do you have one?
You know, it's video game. There is never there is never a release date. I don't want to communicate about that now.
Sure, sure, I understand. So, and what do you expect from your publisher? What percentage increase do you expect to reach, you know, now that you have a publishing deal as well?
Good question. Actually, I don't know, because the game was profitable for me in 1 month when I release it. So I'm okay with finance, etc., with money. So right now, I just want to have good translations. I just want to have the game available everywhere. I would like to be featured by Apple in other markets or Google Play, etc. So that's the work from my publisher.
Yeah, sure. And the publisher paid you in advance to be able to have the right on other platforms?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Great. Yeah,
Yeah.
well done, well done. And how did you find negotiating that deal? You know, many of our viewers, you know, who'll be watching this video, they haven't yet done a deal with a publisher.
Yeah.
How did you find that negotiation?
It wasn't so difficult. I mean, because I sold a lot of copy here in France on iOS, so it was something pretty easy to go to talk to publisher, to say, hey, look at my game, it's already successful. So it wasn't really difficult. Right now for Orion, it's stuff really, it's really other stuff. It's because we have Chinese publisher, we have UK publisher in UK, we have French, we have, yeah, actually we have for Orion we have 8 publisher interested by the game, I think.
Yeah.
There are lots of big publishers and small ones too, and now we are thinking, we are talking with them, you know, to see what are their strategies with the game, what are their lineup, because they already have some games to sell. So we are talking with them, and we don't want to rush anything. So we just want to take the time to make the best decision for the game and the project. So we are talking with them right now.
Yes, I see. And with those publishers, are you finding that they're interested because of your previous success with Anna?
I don't think so. I think it's more about Orion because a lot of people saw the game. People find the game really beautiful because it's a pixel art games, and we put a lot of efforts in that. I think people think the game is really promising, so it's more about that than another game, my previous one. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. And what do you like about Orion, especially? What's the unique features of the game?
Oh, good question. We have, I would say, three selling points to make the game different. It's a roguelike, and in roguelike game, you don't have any story normally. You just, yeah, go to save the princess or save the world, like that. So we wrote something really special for a roguelike game with a story about god wars, etc. Um, we are innovating also by implementing new kind of stuff. For example, as player, you will build everything in the world, like the dungeon. So you have to manage all the dungeon. So you have to choose the next room you will cross, not just crossing the door. I mean, you will see all the information of the next doors, of the next rooms, and with this information, you will have to make some choice to organize the dungeon. It's a little bit difficult to explain, but you will see in the game. And the last thing we did, it's we mixed the stamina bar and the life bar to make a new kind of gameplay. So difficult to say right now, but when you test the game, you see what I mean.
Yeah, thank you. Can you just say a little bit about the new gameplay, but what that is?
Yeah, obviously in many games like Dark Souls or for example, well, I don't have any other example, but in Dark Souls you have your life bar and you have a stamina bar. So if you make some move, you decrease the stamina bar, and if you hit by an enemy, you lose some life. So we mix both. So that's mean if you are losing some life, you won't be able to make lots of moves because it's linked. Stamina bar and life bar are linked in our game. So um, that's it actually.
Thank you. I'm very interested, looking forward to see it.
Yeah.
Um, what vision do you have for your game development journey with Orion?
My vision is to take the time to make a great game. Um, I don't want to rush anything. I want to be proud of my game. That's it. That's all my plan. I will take the time to make it good.
And what have you learned from your experience with Anna that you are now using?
Mm. I learned that to make video games is really long process, and I learned to be more patient because I wasn't patient, obviously. Um, yeah, that's the thing I learned. Yeah.
Thank you. And what will you do differently, going forward with, in addition to being more patient and taking your time, what else would you do differently?
Um, I think I won't change anything I did because I'm here right now because of my success and mistakes. So I'm okay with what I've done in the past. So of course I made some mistakes and I have some success, but um, I'm someone really really careful. So no, I think I did the best I could.
Well done. Thank you. And Apart, we spoke a little bit about the YouTube and a little about the Facebook. Is there anything else that you've done marketing wise, to get your game out there?
Right now, no. For the answer is no for Orion, but there is a lot of stuff to do. I mean, there are a lot of social medias and social networks around the world. For example, in Russia, you have VK, I think. In China, you have WeChat. There are a lot of social networks that indie developers won't reach, but they have to do. They have to do, I think. And but it's a lot of time to manage those kind of stuff, and so that's why I'm just focusing on the famous one like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, etc. But there are a lot of stuff to do when you want to make your game known, I think.
And did you have to spend a lot of money on Facebook ads to get your community?
No, and that's the point. Facebook ads are really cheap in my point of view. You can reach 100,000 people for maybe 10 euros. So it's not a big deal. So my advice would, if you can spend 10 euros in Facebook ads, just do it. It's nothing.
Yeah, fantastic. So you're spending the money on the Facebook ads, and you're generating the community for the future for Orion, and you're finding that territories like Brazil are becoming really fruitful for you.
Yeah, that's it. But we have also we frequently post some news about Orion, so we have some fans from everywhere in the world. But yeah, you're right. We made an ads for everyone, and in Brazil, people really like that, and it's something. It's going viral, I think, in Brazil.
Oh, that's great. And do you think a lot of it has to do with the pixel art?
Oh yeah, there are a lot of stuff to do in Orion.
Thank you. So yeah, in addition to spending, some money on Facebook, if at all possible, what other advice do you have for developers, indie guys who are making their first piece or second piece of work?
Yeah, my main advice would be this one. Think first about marketing stuff before to make a prototype. Think about what are the selling points of your game. Think why your game is different from another. How will you make it known? What is the distribution strategy, etc. Yeah, my main advice would be this one. Think first about marketing stuff before to make a prototype. Think about what are the selling points of your game. Think why your game is different from another. How will you make it known? What is the distribution strategy, etc. It's really my first advice, because really great games are not profitable or are not well known because they didn't think about that at first. We just have to make a skin, a fun environment with a message, with a gallery, with notes, with settings, etc. And I thought, first of all, it's really easy to make it, so it's not a big deal about money. And I thought also it's really simple to explain. You play in a smartphone, you play with messages. All you have to do is to make some choices. So I thought that, and I think in my mind it was really easy to explain the game, and people will see the difference from my game regarding the all other games. So this is a concrete, a real example for Anna, for example.
Yeah, thank you. I'm looking forward to playing it in the UK.
Yeah, of course.
Can you say, is there anything that developers should avoid? You know, any pitfalls that they might fall into that they could avoid?
Yeah, from a point of view, I would say don't put everything in the same basket. I mean, for example, I decided to keep my job and I'm just making game on my free time, because I think that there is nothing worse to spend all his money in a game project than work for 2 or 3 years on it and finally sell only 22 copies. You know, it's really something destroying. So you should limit the risk. You should avoid to invest all your money, even if you believe in your game. Keep some money and let the investor take the risk for you.
Thank you. That's great. Any final things you'd like to say? Or any other examples of the unique marketing strategies that you've used?
I don't have other example of success or any marketing strategy. I just want to wish you good luck, guys, with your indie games, and I hope you will find a success.
Thank you so much. That's a really great message. Much appreciated. There's a lot of insight in there, Clement. I'm really glad that we've spoken today. Thank you so much for coming and being with us.
Thank you, Simon. Thank you.
If anybody would like to get in touch with you, what's the best way to do that?
They can find me on Orion. So my website is www.orionthegame.com, and there are every information needed to contact me on it.
Lovely. Thank you. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Bye, Simon.